Hello everyone and welcome to Sunburned Albino roasts the nominees of the Game Awards, be they games, people, or the categories themselves. We're on the bottom of the page of a website that can single-handedly overload my GPU, and we're working our way up so we can effectively start from the least important categories, which would generally be anything relating to esports, as if anyone holds their breath waiting for those announcements. Whoa, guys, shut up, they're announcing Best Coach! This will be incisive, mean, and hilarious. It's a roast after all, and I ain't pulling any punches. Also, we might as well vote while we do this and add a little positivity to the proceedings when the good games show up. Let's get it going! First category, Best Esports Team, and our nominees are either groups of overly serious-looking white dudes or stock photos of BTS. Damn One Gaming sounds like a YouTube channel with 30 subscribers. The Dallas Empire photo looks like a group of friends celebrating that the guy in the middle finally lost his virginity. You're telling me G2 Esports is a name human beings came up with? You put the word esports in an esports team name? Damn, my favorite football team is 49ers football. I love when they square off against the Cowboys football. I don't know what Team Secret's secret is, but by their faces I'm guessing porn addiction. I didn't have a joke for San Francisco Shock, so I guess they earned my vote by default. Next category, we have Best Esports Host, which is full of names I've never heard of and can't pronounce. I don't see any Smash Bros. Commentators here. That's strange. Did something happen to, all of them? I believe they mistakenly nominated the same woman twice in this category, and then drank a barrel of mead before typing the names. I don't know if they're Icelandic or Swedish or from Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Damn, I wonder why they call Alex Richardson Machine. Do you think it's because he's always working and never slowing down and needs to be oiled 3 times a month? What a bland nothing nickname. That's like a resistance group that calls themselves the Resistance. The creativity is unparalleled. I respect Golden Boy. It's at least a bit more unique and certainly better than Dash. James Dash Patterson. You are named after the act of running fast for a little bit. How'd you earn that? Oh man, that James Patterson, you know how he's always sprinting for short periods of time? We should call him Dash. I don't know which attractive woman to vote for, but since they're the same person, I hope they both win. Moving right along, we have Best Esports Game. Finally a game. This is the Game Awards after all, and this category is full of games that should have died years ago and Valorant. Did Valorant ever even retail? I thought they were being sold exclusively through Twitch streams. League of Legends is still the most played game of people who don't play games. Counter-Strike is the Super Smash Bros. Melee of shooters, a game you couldn't rip from the fan base's cold dead hands no matter how much the industry tried to make it irrelevant. And Call of Duty and Fortnite are Call of Duty and Fortnite. That might be the harshest burn of the video so far. I abstain from voting as I see no palatable options for me. Now we have Best Esports Event, and like most people do with esports events, I'm gonna skip them entirely. Oh shit, it's the moment everyone's been waiting for, Best Esports Coach! I do not understand how people vote on this category. How do you know? Do you just pick whoever's the coach of whoever the best team is and assume that's why they're the best team? I can't imagine they broadcast coaching sessions. Even the Game Awards is laughing at this category. They typed LOL under 2 of the guys. I'll tell you who I'm not voting for. The guy who willingly calls himself crusty. Like, Jesus, dude, take a shower and change your pants. This middle dude's name is Grabs. I don't know if this is the cultural climate in which you want to be known for your grabbing habits. How many accusers have you quashed to keep your name in the nominee list? You can tell nobody loves their job quite as much as Danny Sorensen, though. The man is a living embodiment of joy. Just look at the light in his eyes. This dude is happy to be here. As I have no dog in this race, I shall once more abstain. Moving right past Best Esports Athlete, we have Best Debut Game, and boy are the pickings slim. The only games I've played are Mortal Shell and Phasmophobia. Mortal Shell is an average but acceptable Souls clone, and Phasmophobia, as fun as it is, could have been made by a team of monkeys, so I don't know that it deserves Best Debut Game as a compliment to the studio. That's like if you made a peanut butter sandwich and then someone was like, wow, this is a functional peanut butter sandwich. The person who made this should win the Best Culinary Debut Award, up against people who made fancy cakes and 3-course meals. Carrion is a game about eating everything you can put your mouth around, and I think the Game Awards took that to heart with the nominees for this category. They were certainly not discerning. I've never heard a single word about Roki, and Raji is only here because it's about Indian culture and that's fresh and exciting or whatever. Wasn't it part of the Game Awards diversity showcase last year? I guess they meant diversity and quality. My logic systems are telling me not to vote for Phasmophobia, but I have 10 times more hours in it than any other game on here, so fine, I'll throw you this bone. If you pick it up, you get $10, just make sure you take a picture first. Back to human beings, our next category is Content Creator of the Year, which is already invalid because I'm not on it. Sure, I didn't play Among Us with PewDiePie, or get national attention for being garbage at Fall Guys, or create an organization dedicated to my gender and skin color, but I ranked all the Bugsnax and Bugsnax, and that's the content we all deserve. I don't know who these other two people are. I didn't know J.N. Lopez either, but I googled her to confirm a suspicion of why she was nominated, and I was so correct it hurts. Apparently Nick Merckx is a FaZe Clan thing, and I've never understood that popularity. They're the Kardashians of gaming, except instead of being models with fat lips, they're just dudes who wear hats backwards and play Warzone. Every member of FaZe has millions of followers for no reason. They're like actors on the CW channel. Where did your fans come from and what factory mass-produced them? It says Alana Pierce is Australian, so I'm gonna vote for her in the hopes that one day we'll be married and I'll be able to whisk her away from that burning wasteland of giant spiders. I believe it's all games from here on out, and now we're into Best Multiplayer. I'm hoping one of these games is a typo, because last I checked this was the 2020 Game Awards, and mobile games from 3 years ago couldn't be on it. I don't care if Ninja played it this year. Among Us was released in 2017. I've identified the imposter, and am calling an emergency meeting. Animal Crossing for Best Multiplayer? Multiplayer is the worst part about it. I haven't played in like 6 months, so maybe I'm not current, but spending 20 minutes getting everyone gathered on your island one by one, simulating the exhilarating experience of waiting at the airport just so you can all fish on different parts of the island is not a fun multiplayer situation. Hey bro, can I come over and water your plants? The game should be called Chores with Friends. Fall Guys multiplayer sounds fun until 3 out of 4 people in your squad get eliminated in the first round and the remaining player has to exit and forfeit his rewards so they don't spend the next 15 minutes bitching about spectating. I don't think I've ever even seen footage of Valorant. I feel like I think it's Hyperscape, but it's not. I don't play Warzone either, so I'm probably going to vote for Fall Guys anyway, even though I got burnt out after Season 1. They should have put Pokemon Sword and Shield in here. It launched right on the cutoff of the last Game Awards deadline, alongside Jedi Fallen Order, which is nominated for a couple things this year. Multiplayer is the best thing Sword and Shield have going for them, and the DLC released this year has only improved that. Then we have Best Sports/Racing, otherwise known as Best Game in a Genre I don't play. Didn't play a single one of these. I'll do a cartoony racer, like Crash or Mario Kart, but when you make it real, I'm like, nah, I'll just go drive off a cliff in real life. At this point, the sports games like FIFA and NBA are just here to perfect the graphical technology behind perspiration. Every game, they're like, look how good the sweat looks. Why even make it sports? You could just make a sauna simulator where dudes snap towels at each other and sweat all day long. It's almost a little gay now. Every trailer is like, watch these men excrete hot, salty liquid from their pores. Aren't you drooling at these, graphics? I have no vote. Best Sim/Strategy, no vote here either. Microsoft Flight Simulator is the biggest game here. If I wanted to crash a plane into a mountain, I'd earn my pilot's license, get hired by Delta, and make a spectacle of it. XCOM Chimera Squad has the distinction of being the only underwhelming XCOM game, so that's cool. Now we have Best Family. Not family game, just family. Does this mean games for all ages, or games you can all play as a family together? Because most of these games are either single-player or online multiplayer. We talking best game a 6-year-old can play while his dad answers work emails and his mom browses Tinder? I grew up playing the original Crash Bandicoot games. Mastering their difficulty at a young age is what made me the god-tier gamer I am today, and any kid who can 106% Crash 4 is a certified gangsta. But Dingodile says bastards in that game, so his mom might throw his PS4 out the window. Mario Kart Live is probably a great family experience if your family happens to own an empty warehouse where you can set all that crap up in. HGTV should make a home circuit renovation show where they come in and spend $35,000 turning your house into a giant racetrack. Paper Mario is a family game in that even your kid will be bored of it in an hour, and the idea that children would play Fall Guys and get first round eliminated time after time and cry all day long is funny to me. I'm gonna vote for Crash 4, because it's the best game here, and I want to encourage a breed of super soldier gamer kids who take the pro circuit by storm in the next generation. Best fighting game is up next, or in this case, least mediocre fighting game. I'm literally willing to vote for Under Night in Birth, even though that sounds like a game about a supernatural C-section, just because it's about the only game here I've actually heard good things about. Oh my god, you finally had the baby! How was the birth? Well, it was an Under Night in Birth. Oh, so your baby's a demon? Street Fighter V is among the worst fighting games I've ever played, with the most disgusting characters, and Mortal Kombat 11 took out the run function that was in X, which was vital for juggle combo extensions, so it literally crippled itself. You can't run in Mortal Kombat 11. I bet James Dash Patterson was very disappointed. One Punch Man, a hero nobody knows, and a game nobody plays. They made a game about a guy who kills everything in one hit. Wonder how quick those esports matches were. I'm voting Under Night, even though it's 3 p.m. Moving on to Best Role-Playing, pretty sure that award goes to my ex-girlfriend in the bedroom. She dressed up as Tifa from Final Fantasy, and then later she kicked me right out of the house. Now that's some commitment to character right there. Genshin Impact is like if Breath of the Wild was designed to be played with one hand on account of all the waifus in there. A free download from China, sign me up, their exports have been killing it lately. Persona 5 Royal is another imposter. You're not a new game, you're Persona 5, and Persona 5 came out in 2016. Persona 5 Royal is an expansion pack nominated for Best RPG when even the expansion came out last year. You're not even cheating on time. Why is this nominated? You could have put Demon Souls in instead, a game which is curiously absent from literally every category in these awards, despite launching right alongside other nominated PS5 games. I'm voting for the Final Fantasy VII Remake. That was one of the better things I played this year. Best Action Adventure is up next, games that supposedly combine combat with traversal and puzzles. And let me tell you, this category is stacked. Every single game here is worthy of the nomination. Granted, I haven't played Valhalla or Spider-Man, but they're on my list. Ghost of Tsushima is fantastic, Ori and the Will of the Wisps is exemplary, Jedi Fallen Order is surprisingly incredible, and The Last of Us 2 is amazingly triggering to a lot of people, which pleases me greatly. Mark my words, I predicted like 6 months ago that if Cyberpunk was delayed too long to be in consideration for this year, The Last of Us 2 was gonna clean house, and I still believe it. Whatever you personally might think of it, the general public loves the game. It's right behind Ghost of Tsushima in the current polls for the Player Choice Game of the Year category, and I think it's got a leg up in certain other categories, even if Ghost of Tsushima beats it in the main one. But as far as Best Action Adventure goes, I have to dance with the horse that brought me, and that's Ori. Absolutely, unbelievably tremendous video game right there. Best Action now, games focused primarily on combat without any of that using your brain stuff the last category had. Doom Eternal, I'll be honest, I preferred the first one, back when enemies' weak spots were just their face, instead of having all these weird intricacies like first shoot the turret on its back, then tear off its right foreleg, then place that foreleg up its rectal cavity. Since when do I want to think about weaknesses? Is this Doom or Pokemon? Hades is a good game that's currently being overvalued. I have no doubt in my mind it's gonna win this category and a few others, but like, settle down, people. It's a game about Greek mythology where half the cast is British for no reason, and Zagreus's constant comments about any mundane thing that happens irks me greatly. You take one step forward, he's like, one step forward. You take another step forward, he's like, another step forward. Like, dude, shut your mouth for 1 second, please. I don't know what Half-Life Alyx and especially Streets of Rage 4 are doing here. I could name several games that deserve a spot more than you. Resident Evil 3, Avengers, Demon's Souls, Crash Bandicoot 4, since there's no platformer category, so it should definitely be here instead. Crash 4 would have cleaned up a platformer category, but I guess no other platformers came out this year at all. My best genre is dying. I'm voting for Nioh 2. It's the best game here, and I mean that sincerely. Oh, here we go. Best Innovation and Accessibility, as if anyone on this site has the information necessary to vote on this. Is this just about which game you can best play with your teeth? Which game can you play with no limbs and just a torso? Is there like a dance pad peripheral where you just hop up and down on it like a jumping bean? I know The Last of Us 2 has expanded difficulty options that get really specific, which I appreciated. You could make the combat hard, but make the resources plentiful and stuff like that, which upped my convenience. The only reason Grounded is here is because of the arachnophobia meter, which I made a whole video on. Basically, there are giant spiders in the game, so they put in this meter you can toggle to try and make them look less spider-like, which I can tell you, as someone who is arachnophobic, does not work. Like, you failed. Were you just nominated for trying? That's nice. It failed for multiple reasons. One, you still knew it was a fucking spider because your brain's like, yeah, just because this thing has 4 legs instead of 8 doesn't mean it's not a spider. And if you turned the meter all the way up, it would just turn it into 2 colorless ovals floating around with no face or limbs. So if you fought one, you couldn't even see how it attacked. It was detrimental to your health. So I turned the meter off and just dealt with giant spiders in a video game like a goddamn man. And you know what? It helped. I got used to it over time, and even though spiders in real life still terrify me, I became able to tolerate them in the particular game I was playing, and that's something. Face your fears, people. Just do it digitally in a fantasy land where it's safe. I'm gonna vote for The Last of Us 2 because those difficulty options really improved the accessibility of my ability to enjoy that game. Sorry if one of these other games made it so coma patients can play it while they're brain dead or whatever, but I don't have that information with me. Best VR/AR is up next, 2 peripherals I do not own, but from a purely conceptual perspective, I know Dreams wins this thing by a landslide. Building worlds in a 3D space with Move controllers, sculpting your creations by hand, I bet there's nothing like it. Didn't Iron Man VR get bad reviews? Gotta pad the nominee count somehow. This is what happens when you create a mandatory min-max of 5 entries. It's arbitrary, and you're gonna leave out good games and reward bad ones. The action-adventure category could have had 10 good games in it, and the platformer and rhythm categories could have existed. I vote Dreams. Best community support probably goes to Fall Guys, just for how annoying its Twitter account was. You could tell it was a human being with thoughts and feelings, and I hate that. Game Twitters should be soulless information disseminators, not meme lords. They also did a lot of feedback requests and incorporated the most popular asks into the patch notes, so what more can you want? You might think No Man's Sky has come the furthest, but don't forget it's their own fault they started from such a low point to begin with. Releasing garbage and gradually turning it into gold isn't better than releasing silver and having less travel time to get gold. I'll vote Fall Guys. Maybe they'll give me my own skin as a thank you. The category real gamers hate, Best Mobile Game, which is full of franchises that have been dumbed down for your dumbass phone. If you want mobile games, get a Switch. Take it with you on the bus or the plane. Bring it to your clan rally. I don't care. But phone games are an assault on an IP's integrity. The most charming game here by far is Pokemon Cafe, which is a click-and-drag icon combo game with a really warm and nice atmosphere. But the reason I really appreciate it is that it was made by Genius Sonority, which is who made the Shadow Pokemon games for GameCube, and since that company is still in business, our dreams for a new entry aren't quite dead yet. I'll vote for it just for that. Best Indie is happening now, perhaps the category with the most snubs. This marks Carrion's second nomination for God knows why. There's no Neon Abyss, Monster Train, Neversong, Crown Trick, Fate Tactics going under Rogue Legacy 2 since apparently early access games like Phasmophobia can be nominated, Scourgebringer, Teardown, Temtem, Undermine, Visage, or Bugsnax. But sure, Carrion, yeah, great job. And yes, I do think Bugsnax should be here. It's fun as hell to catch Bugsnax, don't be jealous. This is another category Hades is sure to win. I don't think Spelunky 2 was good enough. It made a bunch of lateral moves from the first one, got too repetitive for me. Who knows what Spiritfarer even is? Be nice if a giant wave came out of that photo and overturned the boat to make room for something better. Despite me not wanting Hades to win much, I have to give it the vote here since they decided to give it very little competition. Best ongoing game, otherwise known as the best game for poor people. Well, it certainly isn't Destiny 2. Nobody can afford all those $60 expansions. Ludicrous. 3 of these are battle royales. That's not a joke, it's just a sad observation. I play 0 of these games, and they will get 0 of my votes. Now we're on Games for Impact, or the SJW Award for short. It may not surprise you to learn I've also played none of these games. I'm impacted by the ones that are actually good. I could probably predict the winner if I knew what each of these games were about just based on the subject matter, but tell me why stars a trans person who sometimes talks about what it's like to be a trans person, so that's probably at the top of the list for them. I abstain my vote. Best Performance is up next. One of these things does not belong. Can you guess which? I'll give you a hint. It's the one that doesn't belong. Look, I say this as an aspiring voice actor. There is no voice acting that is as good as mocap acting of the same caliber. Much more is demanded of you. Hades might have a nice, distinctive voice, but it just can't compare to Laura Bailey getting fucked in the ass by a guy named Owen. That might even be what's happening in that picture. She gets my vote just for that. Best audio design is coming, and this category is a joke because it doesn't have Astro's Playroom. Nothing even compares. I'll let The Last of Us 2 have my silver medal vote for how perfectly atmospheric it is, but the stuff Astro's Playroom did with the DualSense controller is true next gen. Also, Ori and the Will of the Wisps should be here, so I can vote for that instead. That soundtrack is incredible. Best score and music? Oh, okay, I'll vote for Ori on this one then. I don't think the Final Fantasy VII Remake soundtrack is very good. They let you collect audio CDs in them and play them on jukeboxes in the world, and I'm like, nah, you're not Kingdom Hearts, I'll pass. The Last of Us 2 has a great score. I especially like all the dead silence in it. Best art direction coming at us? Oh cool, I get to vote for the most gorgeous game in existence? Right on. Sorry Final Fantasy, you look damn good, but my man Ori needs all the help he can get to achieve half the awards he deserves. Now we have Best Narrative, which according to some people is for outstanding storytelling that doesn't involve killing off your main character in the sequel, even though he totally deserves it based on what he did in the first one. Game's been out for over 6 months, your spoiler-free window closed a while ago. You really didn't think Joel was gonna die? You really think he could kill an entire hospital of people who were trying to save the world and not suffer any consequences for that? As if there was anywhere else for the story to go. People were really like, Joel didn't deserve that. He deserved a lot worse than some chick teeing off on his face. He killed her dad for trying to bring humanity back from the brink of extinction. She should have used a chainsaw. That all aside, I was thoroughly invested in the story, which was like 8 hours longer than I thought it would be, but still didn't drag because the game was so fun besides, and given its popularity, the majority are on my side. If Ghost of Tsushima is a revenge tale, The Last of Us 2 is several revenge tales for the price of one, and the fact that it culminates with most of those vengeances left unfulfilled and instead replaced with peace, even after everything we went through on both sides to exact it, inject that shit right into my veins. That's a level of acceptance most of us will never achieve. I'll vote for it. Best Game Direction is up next, and if we're talking about direction taking real risks that paid off, then this just turns into a continuation of the last category for how The Last of Us 2 dared to try and make us care about our worst enemy by putting us in her shoes for so long. There's also something to be said about the Final Fantasy VII Remake changing so much from the original and creating something entirely new and different out of it, as well as Hades creating a constantly forward-pushing narrative structure despite its roguelike foundation, and also Ghost of Tsushima's revitalization of the open world and its worthwhile things to accomplish. Oh, and Half-Life Alyx is here again. Why? Just because people waited for almost 20 years for Half-Life 3 and got a VR game instead? I don't know how people can play first-person shooters in VR where you just teleport everywhere. That seems super disorienting. To me, this is really between The Last of Us 2 and the Final Fantasy remake, and in this case, just to get one on the board, I'm gonna go with FF7. Last and most importantly, we have the Game of the Year itself, which has 6 categories, so they could pointlessly fit in Animal Crossing. I spent a fair amount of time building up my island to look all pretty and nice and had an okay time doing it, but certainly not a Game of the Year time. If Corona didn't happen, this game wouldn't be on the list. That's a fact. It launched right next to lockdowns, and everybody stayed home and played it because there was nothing else to do. You all liked this game because it beats working, and it made you forget you couldn't pay your bills. I think Doom Eternal is a bit out of its depth here too. If you've played any solid amount of games this year, you know this one's in the top 10 or 15 range at best. I'd have nominated Assassin's Creed Valhalla before Doom Eternal, and I haven't even played that shit. Ghost of Tsushima would be a great pick. It would be the second samurai game in a row to win Game of the Year at the Game Awards after Sekiro. Yes, I know he's a shinobi, not a samurai, whatever, bite me. I think Hades has a chance to win, which means the Game Awards has a chance to lose all credibility. It's plainly not that good. Ghost of Tsushima is winning the Player's Voice category, where the audience decided their pick for Game of the Year, but I would bet my left nut that The Last of Us 2 still wins the official one. I don't know which one to pick. Not that it makes a difference in the grand scheme of things, because one vote doesn't matter, and I fool myself into thinking it does every time I cast one according to my principles, but because I enjoy the prospect of The Last of Us 2 winning the most due to the ensuing backlash that would cause, I'm gonna do my part to barely help make that a reality. Well, that's gonna do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you can like, share, and subscribe. Check out every single one of my other videos in a row right now, and I'll see you guys next time.